And the defendant will be taking the stand. Philip Dube, your thoughts? Did the judge get it right?
Absolutely, he did. The client can always authenticate his own texts on his phone. I think what a lot of people don't know is most cell phone carriers, and it's because of what I do. I can't tell you how often digital evidence is introduced at jury trials, but most cell phone carriers do not store and maintain the contents of text messages beyond 30 to 90 days. They just don't have the cloud storage space, if you will, to maintain all of that data cost effectively. So it gets purged. And it's no wonder that if a year later you're issuing a subpoena for this stuff, that they tell you they don't have it or that it doesn't exist, because it doesn't. They just purge it automatically. And as a second point, I very, very rarely, at least in California, see a judge take a testimonial waiver from a defendant before deciding whether or not to testify, unless he chooses not to. You only go through all these machinations and advisement if he's choosing not to, so there's no allegation later on appeal, if convicted, that he was never given the opportunity to testify and he chose not to. But here, it seems like they're just warning him of the pitfalls to testify, and he's acceded to all those. So we'll see what happens. It's exciting.
Yeah, quite a turn of events this morning here in Tennessee. Would you, if you're prosecuting, which I know you don't do,
that's okay, bring
the victim back in a rebuttal case and have her get up there and say, I did not send these texts?
100% I would. Absolutely, but she's going to look like a liar, quite frankly. She's going to testify to that.
More than him? You don't think he looks like a liar? Possibly?
No, because, well, he's producing something tangible. And by the way, just because he has those texts doesn't necessarily mean he's exonerated from domestic violence. All it really shows is that, she might still have an axe to grind. She was very upset, but you can still be abused and upset. The two are not necessarily coextensive, if you will. So I don't know. It could also backfire. But he comes off very charming. I think he'll do well on the stand. He was lucky that his priors were excluded. And we'll see what happens. On another note, this prosecutor needs to go back to her law school and ask for a refund, because they didn't get the job done in teaching her how to lay a foundation. She doesn't know how to cross-examine a witness on authentication and foundation. And that's a big issue, because as you can see, our rules of evidence take on a life of their own when it comes to introducing this type of evidence at a criminal trial. And it looked like she was a fish out of water.
Yeah, there was definitely some heavy frustration. Judge is back on the bench. The jury has entered the courtroom. Here we go.